Live from the leader of high school football coverage in the Permian Basin, this is First Alert 7's Friday Night Blitz. Brought to you by Odessa College, United Supermarkets, and Dr. Pepper. Now, here's First Alert 7 Sports Director Jair Brooks Davis and Jensen Young.
High school football is everything.
And welcome back to the Permian Basin's most in-depth and most experienced high school football show, where we cover the most games. So we're going to start doing that football. So it was a pretty interesting night. Now, of course, it's the crosstown rivalry between Odessa High School and Permian, going head to head, going up against each other.
Yeah.
Now they talk about saving the best just for a little bit more longer.
We are waiting for that game to go final. It's almost done. When we last checked, Permian was up very, very big. I believe it was 50-26 when we last checked. So Permian looking to stay undefeated, get revenge for Odessa's win last year. We'll check into that a little bit. The game is almost done. So we want to get you the final score, and hopefully we can hear from Coach Ellison, assuming that Permian maintains their lead.
Yeah, now, before we go into San Angelo versus Midland Legacy, Jensen, let me ask you something. So you were at that game last year between Odessa and Permian.
I was.
Yeah, so what was that experience like last year, and what was that experience like for you this year?
Honestly, it was a bit of a shock because I am very new out here and from Florida, so I don't even know about Texas high school football anywhere in Texas. But I had heard about Friday Night Lights. So I was very excited to be able to go to that game last year. And then the fact that Odessa got their first win in a decade against Permian in overtime at that. What a game that was. It was a very, very close call on that touchdown to win the game. I don't remember off the top of my head who did score that, but yeah, it was right there. Tough call to make, but he got it. Odessa wins.
Yeah, it was DeJuan Green. And just before we dive into the highlights, just what was it like tonight? What was like the pregame atmosphere and everything
For tonight,
like the band's playing, the crowd cheering, just what was that experience like?
The Permian band was out all around the entire field for pregame for their school song. Then Odessa played their school song. They played the national anthem. They marched all the way around the actual track at Ratliff Stadium as well. That was a really cool thing to be able to see. Really cool moment for the Permian band there. So, but then really just pregame, it looked like both teams were really just focused, and you really have to beat for a rivalry game like this because you can get very distracted, and the coaches were harping on it all week long. Stay focused, stay calm. Yes, this is a massive game, but it's now the first game of districts. That was what they were focused on.
Yeah, I mean, you have to keep the focus, especially you can't lose sight when it comes to these crosstown rivalry games. Now, I mean, we had Odessa versus Permian. Later on in the season, we're going to have Midland Legacy going up against Midland High. So, speaking of Midland Legacy, we're going to start out with that game right now as they hosted San Angelo.
Let's do it.
So Midland Legacy looking to make it 1-0 in district play. Rebels working in the red zone on their first possession. Aiden Serrano takes the direct snap and makes it into the end zone for the touchdown. He gives Legacy a 6-0 lead. Now keep the camera on him. Rebels went for the 2-point conversion. Serrano takes the direct snap again and gives Legacy an 8-0 lead.
Okay.
Now don't forget that he's a receiver, Jensen.
Yes, he is.
Sophomore JP Reyes finds Serrano. He has open field ahead of him. He's able to chunk his way to the end zone, giving the Rebels a 15-0 lead right now.
Alrighty, good for him.
So San Angelo would get back on the board right after, but the Rebs have an answer. Reyes snaps and looks for a target. He goes deep as he finds Caden Ellison in the end zone for the touchdown. Legacy goes up 22-7. Now the Rebels were working in the red zone later on. Serrano makes it in for his third touchdown of the night. Give credit to his linemen, make it a hat trick for him. Plus you've got to love the celebration with Peyton Arthur and Drew Nicias.
Oh, love that.
That's right. That's right. Now, San Angelo was able to score again. Reyes finds Serrano, who weaves back and forth through the defense, make it touchdown number 4 on the night. As far as I'm considered, he should be a Division I prospect. Let's check out the final score. The actual final was Legacy 42, San Angelo. They were able to come back and score 36 points, so it went down to the wire, Jensen.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive from the San Angelo Central offense there. We haven't seen a crazy amount from them this season. We've seen a lot of good potential from this Legacy offense, and one incredible game from in JP Reyes' first game as a starter, breaking the school record. So obviously this Legacy offense can score and score in bunches. They did so tonight, scoring 42. now 1-0 in district, as you were saying, but just their second win of the year. They started off 1-4.
Yes, 1-4 start, very tough. We already know the story. Jaden Rogers is done for the season with a torn ACL, going up against tough opponents like Allen, Lake Travis, the state, Ruston, Louisiana.
Yeah.
And I'm missing on someone.
I'm missing as well. Oh, goodness gracious.
Oh,
we can't remember that one. Anyways, yeah.
Yeah, anyways, but yes.
We've seen some tough sledding for the Legacy Rebels so far this year, so good to get a pretty good win there. But yeah, only 6 points.
Wait, I forgot about Abilene. They beat Abilene.
Yes,
oh, okay, then they beat Abilene.
They
beat Abilene.
Yes.
Now, some things that I noticed about Midland Legacy, they're using a whole bunch of different formations.
They are.
Which is pretty good for them. They're throwing Aiden Serrano at running back. They're going deep balls to Caden Ellis. They're putting people in motion. So it shows clearly that whenever something goes on with Midland Legacy offensively, they find a way to shift and work towards what's going to help the team the best.
And it really seems to be working for Aiden Serrano. We saw on screen, 4 touchdowns from Aiden Serrano. That's an incredible performance from him. I think it was 2 in the ground, 2 in the air.
Yeah, 2 in the ground, 1 in the air. No, yeah, 2 in the ground, 2 in the air. You got that one right. Not to mention the 2-point conversion too.
Yes, there you go. But yeah, what a night from Aiden Serrano there. Good for him.
100%. Now, speaking of Midland, let's take it up to Wolford Friendship, and we'll check on another Midland school. So Midland High at Friendship, Holden Phillips takes a snap and dumps it down to Chase Campbell. And he breaks 1 tackle and turns on the spin cycle, and the Jets for their first score of the game. Midland can't answer. Tigers slash their way down to the 1, and it's Jordan Hernandez punching it in. Later on Friendship, they were up 14-7. Third down, it's a direct snap to Campbell, and again, he powers through 1 tackle and takes it in for the score to make it 20-7 after a missed extra point, that is. Now it went down to the wire, Jensen, and Midland High, they fell to the Friendship Tigers 48-47 tonight. Very tough go for Midland High, going up against a high-flying, high-scoring Friendship offense. So, I mean, just very, very, very tough way to begin district.
Yeah, that's a tough one, I think, for Thad Fortune to be able to put into context for his team. Losing just by 1 point, 48-47, that's a very tough one to lose. You're scoring 47 points, and now you're 0-1 in district. I mean, that's a very tough one. We've seen incredible things from this Midland offense this season, namely through Stroman Bridges, through Elijah McCoy. Those two have been incredible on the ground. A little bit of throwing here and there. We know that that's not really Midland's game, but this is a tough one to lose if you're the Bulldogs.
Yeah, so, we still have quite a bit of some time before we catch up with Jeff Ellison. So far, Jensen, what are you thinking about how this district is playing out?
Well, I mean, we've heard from the coaches all season long, and before the season even started, we were saying, what are your thoughts on this district? Because this is a very, very, very tough district, and the coaches echoed that to the furthest extent that they could, really. I mean, this is going to be a dogfight to get into just the playoffs, let alone to be able to win the division between these 6 teams. I think we've seen some very impressive things, especially from we've focused mostly on the teams in the Midland, Odessa area. We've seen incredible things out of all 4 teams. Friendship is a very good offense. San Angelo Central took Legacy to the limit tonight. This is a very impressive district. I mean, I don't know who to pick right now.
Yes. Now, the teams that we've discussed so far some of them should be going up against each other next week. Odessa going up against Midland. What are you expecting out of any of those out of that game?
I mean, we just saw how much fight the Midland Bulldogs had. They ended up losing just by 1 point there, but a lot of fight. Maybe we've seen a lot of very impressive defense, very impressive run game, and when need be, they can pass the ball a little bit. We've seen a couple of passing touchdowns. We know Thad Fortune does not like to pass the ball when he can run the ball and run as efficiently as they currently do so far this year. So Midland, we know, is very good. Odessa has had a very strong offense, 3 of their 4 games scoring 7 touchdowns prior to tonight. We don't know the final score yet for this game. It's almost done, so we will be getting to that Odessa Permian game very shortly. But I think the big tell is, can Odessa cause some stops for Midland? In that case, the Odessa offense is very strong. They have a shot at winning, but if they can't force some turnovers, force some stops from the Midland offense, could be a tough night for Odessa.
Now, I was actually at that game last year, and just what you said, Midland High, Odessa High, they were unable to get the stops against the Bulldogs, especially when they needed it. So that's going to be a very fun matchup between both teams, two high-scoring teams that are going head-to-head, but the question is who's going to be able to step up defensively. Now, as for Legacy, they're going to be going up against Friendship
yes,
next week. And now, my thing about Legacy is just like they need to find a way, because clearly the offense stalled out during the second half tonight, which is what I'm getting out of it, because when I left, they had 35 points on the board.
Added just 7 since then.
And added 7 since then. Plus, Friendship, they love to throw the ball. Clint Hartman has spoken about how his defense loves to stop the run. So, I mean, complete opposites. So
to be fair, though, when you are able to completely take away a team's ability to run, it's hard for them to get efficient passing the ball, because if you know that you can stop them in the run, you can just put one extra guy out to cover on a pass game, right? And then that allows you that extra guy. Yeah, maybe that does open you up a little bit more in the run game, but if you're dominant enough in stopping the run, you can afford to maybe balance out a little bit on both sides and force Friendship to run when they love to pass.
Yes, now we will check out the highlights later, plus we want to hear from head coach Jeff Ellison, because Permian, they got their revenge over...
we have the final score.
Yes, the final score is officially 50-26.
Okay.
Permian got the win, so that game is officially final. And yes, we will go into the highlights later on, because we also want to hear from Jeff Ellison too.
Yes, so then, yeah, big win there for Permian. 24-point margin of victory there. 6-0 for the Panthers. That's exactly how you want to start off the season, start off the district schedule, especially beating such a big rival and an impressive offensive rival like Odessa.
Yes, and as a matter of fact, Armando Gomez just let us know that he has Jeff Ellison right now. Now, guys, do we want...
Oh. Okay. All right.
Okay.
We'll get to him in a little bit.
Then yes, we'll get to him in a little bit. We have a little bit of some more scores going on right now, as a matter of fact. Jensen, you got it.
All right. We have Shallow Water and Pecos. A massive win for the Mustangs out of Shallow Water, 57-6. I don't know what happened there for Pecos. Only putting up 6 points there. Tough one.
Tough one for Pecos, just not getting any easier for them. We got them, guys? No? Okay.
All right, some more scores to get to. Let's get to a couple more scores while we are on wait for Armando. Kermit and Big Spring, a big win for the Steers, 49-20. Both of these teams will have an off week next week, though.
Yes, both teams will have an off week next week. Big Spring is going to be going into district play, as a matter of fact. Now, before we go over into Permian versus Odessa, so what I'm seeing here is that they're going to be going up against Andrews. So it should be a pretty big matchup. Two heavy run teams that are going to be going head-to-head. Two teams that had very tough starts to the season in non-district play, Jensen.
Yeah, but a great night there for Big Spring getting the win. All right, I think we do have him now, so let's turn to our big rivalry game of the night. We've been discussing a little bit here. We heard that Permian won, so let's go down to Ratliff Stadium, hear from our Armando Gomez. Armando, what do you have for us with Coach Ellison?
Well, Coach, congratulations on the win. So, again, OHS, a high-flying offense. How special is it, winning against a team like them?
Well, they did an outstanding job, outstanding scheme offensively. Their quarterback you saw what he can do tonight. He's a great football player, so I was proud of our guys tonight, so it was a good win for our team.
Thank you, Coach. And I know this is a first district game in the schedule for you guys. How important is it, clinching that first win in district play?
Oh, it's huge. Proud of our guys for our goal, obviously, for tonight. Did a great job of getting that goal.
Thank you, Coach, for your time. Congratulations on the win. Jared, Jensen, back over to you guys.
Armando, thank you so much. Let's look at some of the highlights I was able to get earlier in the game. It's a big one for these two schools, led by, as we saw, two coaches with a long history in this rivalry. Odessa looking to repeat from last year's win. They weren't able to do so. Permian able to stay undefeated. The first possession went to Odessa, but a bad snap on the punt. The punter has to kick it out of the end zone for a safety. So now Odessa has to give it right back to Permian. The kick is up, short, it's bouncing, picked up by Tyran Williams. He'll go to the right, but cut left, and what a crucial move that was, Jair. Some open space for him. Williams finds plenty of grass ahead. Permian, what a start to the game. The Permian faithful going crazy. It's 9-0 in less than a minute. Odessa ball now following possession. Mikey Cota rolls to the right. He'll throw that way. Caught at the goal line. He's in. Aramis Rodriguez, a perfectly placed ball by Mikey Cota. All right, it's going to go back to Permian. Jacob Garcia, he snaps and gives to Gavin Black. We can't even see him yet. That's how fast he is, outrunning all the Broncos. But he is going to be run down inside the 5-yard line. Some flags on the play, move the Panthers just a little bit closer. Why not give it right back to Gavin Black? He walks nicely in. Permian leading big. Odessa will take back over, though. Cota going to pass. He ends up throwing it to no man's land. It's intercepted by Permian's Cameron Mattingly. He brought down a couple of yards later. Permian takes over. We've had the camera on him all night long. Gavin Black gets the give. He finds the end zone. Permian jumps out to a big early lead, and we know that they ended up getting the win. Final score again, 50 for the Permian Panthers. Odessa, 26 points.
Yeah, so this is the game that everyone has been talking about all week. Jensen, very, very quickly, what have you noticed about both teams? We talked about everything else, like the bands and like the fans and everything like that. What have you noticed about this game from both teams a little bit more?
The biggest thing to note for Permian is the existence of Gavin Black in the backfield. And by his existence in the backfield, you know that he's going to be out of the backfield and in the end zone. Gavin Black is a monster.
Yeah,
for the Panthers.
He is tearing up yards for the Panthers, and he was a good complimentary piece to Justice Laura last year. Now he's at UTPB, and Gavin Black, he's been able to fit in that running back role.
He's assumed that RB1 role very, very well.
Very, very well. You can't complain about what Gavin Black is doing. And I mean, a couple of times, folks, he could have been our first Alert 7 Player of the Week, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I think he deserves a couple of times by that as well. But I mean, yeah, he's assumed that role of RB1 very, very well. And like you said, good compliment to Jacob Garcia, who we know he can also run. For Odessa, though, as we were talking about earlier, it's a very powerful offense. Didn't show it tonight, 26 points for them. That's their second time, actually, this season being held under 30 points. But the other 3 games that they played, they scored 7 touchdowns in those. So it's a little bit of back and forth with the Bronco offense. We know that they can show some very good things. Not so much tonight, though.
Yeah, not so much tonight. Now, we also had some more games going on, as a matter of fact. Oh, actually, Jensen, we actually had Band of the Week. Excuse me.
Oh, yes. And, of course, what other matchup would we have than a great rivalry like Odessa and Permian? Let's see who won that Band of the Week, Jair.
That's right.
Here's tonight's Band of the Week, brought to you by America's Wholesale Furniture.
All right, so we had over 150,000 votes. Thank you all for voting on this. A big one. 77,888 for the Odessa Bronco Band and 72,399 for the Permian Panther Band. Let's hear from the Big Red Band of Odessa. Congratulations, Odessa Band. Let's get to Fort Stockton in Seminole. A good one here, just one loss between the two. Caden Kramer near the goal line. He falls short, it looks like, but he's marked as a touchdown for Seminole. And again near the goal line, again, Kramer is in for the score. 2 very fast touchdowns for Seminole. Now on the kickoff following that score, a long return for the Panthers. That's Rylan Nunez. He runs this one back, but the Panthers could not get much going. Again with the ball is Nunez, but he ends up coughing it up. It's on the ground. Seminole grabs it. Fort Stockton looking messy tonight, so Seminole takes over. Wyatt Holstrom is going to toss this one way deep. Logan McCormick is under it, and check out that throw and catch. Seminole has their way with Fort Stockton. Let's skip to the final score because it's not what you want to do, but that is what you want to do if you're Fort Stockton. Losing 62-17. Fort Stockton, they cannot get it done I think it was at Fort Stockton, actually. Excuse me.
It was at Fort Stockton, Jensen. But also, Seminole's a pretty talented, very stacked team, as a matter of fact, in 4A. So, I mean, if you're Fort Stockton, man, what can you do? It was just
they're now 7-0.
being 7-0. I mean, they're just stacked, man. Like, you can't argue against what the Seminole Indians can do to you on the field.
Yes, you really can't. And Fort Stockton will be playing at Snider next Friday. And speaking of Snider, we had some more action going on tonight. We did hear from Armando Gomez. He was at the game for Snider and Monahans. Yeah, he has the first half highlights before he got to Rattler Stadium. Armando.
Monahans coming into this game with a 3-3 record, and Snider looking to grab a win tonight in Monahans. Monahans looking to score first. Dylan Pittman takes a snap and he keeps it to himself, and he finds a hole and he takes a vicious hit, but that's not going to stop him as he scores, and Monahans takes the lead. Snider looking to respond back. Aiden Claxton scrambles in the pocket looking for a receiver, and he throws a desperation throw to the end zone, but the pass is broken up and it is picked off by AJ Navarrete. As the second quarter is coming to an end, Monahans are back in the red zone. Pittman hands it off to D. Anthony Barnes, and he scores a 15-yard touchdown to double the lead. Halftime score: Monahans 21, Snider 0.
Thank you, Armando. Monahans kept the shutout going, winning 63-0. Monahans back over at 500 at 4-3. They'll take on the Greenwood Rangers next week.
Should be a very, very fun matchup. I mean, can't get any better. Like, these districts have now aligned in different ways. Monahans going up against Greenwood. I mean, a lot of running options and a lot of RPOs between both teams. So, pretty exciting. Yeah,
this is what we were used to seeing last year out of Monahans, so good to see them back at this level a little bit. Let's get to some more games, shall we? How about Andrews and Bushland? Not a good performance for Andrews, 42-12. Andrews, maybe luckily, after a performance like that, has the week off. The following week, they will be up against Big Spring. Andrews, I believe, still winless on the season.
Yes, still winless on the season. So Andrews, they're going to be going up against Big Spring. Big Spring had a tough start to the year. So, I mean, Andrews, two teams that have been going through it to begin the season, going head to head. It should be a fun one.
As we saw for Big Spring, who will be going up against Andrews in 2 weeks' time, they did have a big win tonight against Kermit, a 29-point win, I think it was, for Big Spring. So, should be another tough matchup coming out of the bye week for Andrews.
Yes, now we also had some more games going on. Alpine going up against Odessa Compass. Both have bye weeks next week, but Alpine, they're looking pretty solid. Odessa Compass, they were on a 2-game win streak, and they fall tonight, Jensen.
Yeah, we've seen some good performances from Alpine. As you said, a 2-game win streak coming into tonight for Compass. They started the year 0-4 prior to that. So, yeah, a little bit of an up and down season for kind of both teams, it looks like. I don't remember off the top of my head Alpine's record, but now Compass 2-5 in Bo Smith's first season with the Compass Academy Cougars.
Yeah, pretty solid start to them. And I mean, look, going 2-1, they have a chance to make up for it next week.
All right, let's get to some more games. How about the Crane Golden Cranes up against the Anthony Wildcats? 2 bad weeks in a row for Anthony. Crane gets the win 48-7. Anthony, they lost last week 69-2 to Odessa Compass. And on that note, for Odessa Compass, like we heard about earlier, their game, that's our Player of the Week. Let's get to it.
The Player of the Week is brought to you by Ranger Clinic.
All right, so Maxwell Tucker is a sophomore do-it-all athlete for the Compass Cougars in last week's 69-2 win over Anthony. He had a long stat line. Get this, Jair. 97 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, and a 14-yard reception on offense. That sounds pretty good, right? How about this? On defense, he recorded 5 tackles, 1 of them for loss, half a sack, and an interception that he returned for a touchdown. Does that sound like it's all?
Nope.
I'll tell you what, he also plays on special teams. He blocked a punt and returned that for a touchdown.
A lot, really. Number one, that it's what's expected, really. Coach here expects the best out of us, expects the best out of every single player out here, and that's what we try to give. I feel I can do this in every single game that I play, no matter who it is or what we're up against.
All right, congratulations to Maxwell. All right, hopefully you can get a win next week. All right, Coahoma is 0-1 in district after their loss to Grape Creek. The Eagles besting the Bulldogs 34-20. Coahoma has a good matchup against Wall next week. How about some more games? Here's a shutout. Forsan, they have struggled to get it going this year. Shutout 52-0 against the Broncos of Sonora. Forsan, hopefully they can get it done against Colorado City next week. We have not seen a lot of promise out of the Forsan offense so far this year, Jair.
No, very tough start, and they were predicted to win the district, as a matter of fact, in Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine.
Yeah, that just tells you that you have no idea what is actually going to happen preseason. Everything changes once you get to the midpoint of the season. We're past the midpoint now.
Yeah. Now, there was also some more games, Jensen. Wink going up against McCamey.
A big one here.
And I mean, you can't even be shocked by...
Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah, you can't be... I mean, I'm sorry, guys. You can't be shocked about this. Number 7, Wink. They just took down the Badgers 72-13. 2A, I mean, just Wink. Something... They're putting something in the water over there when it comes to winning district championships and being ranked, Jensen.
Yeah, I mean, that's insane. Like, they deserve that number 7 ranking. We've seen incredible things out of this Wink offense all year long. I would say led at running back by the sophomore Kamad Fashan. He's already a 2-time First Alert 7 Player of the Week so far this year. 2 incredible performances, and I'm sure that there's another incredible performance for Kamad in there. When you score 72 points, your running back's got to get at least a couple touchdowns.
That's right. And I mean, just Wink has a lot of names that you think historically, like Kamad Fashan, Cannon Gibson, Jordan Talley. Now there's Josh Talley?
Yes, Jaden.
Jaden Talley.
Yes.
So I mean, they just produce a lot of studs out there. So shout out to those Wink Wildcats.
Yeah, I'd say that Brian Gibson, I believe it's his 8th year in Wink. He's doing some incredible things. That offense is unbelievable sometimes. I would say tonight is one of those for sure unbelievable nights of offense. 72 points, you just don't get that. Wink is 1-0 in district. They'll be playing Ira Ann, who is also undefeated. We'll get to their score in just a little bit.
That is right. Now, we also had some more games. Reagan County, they're a team that is making some noise for themselves. Reagan County, they got the win 44-28 over Ozona. So, I mean, 1-0 in district play. They'll be going up against Cristobal next Friday.
All right, let's get to some more games. Here is the Ira Ann Braves getting a 70-30 win over the Eagles out of El Dorado. Yeah, there you go. Ira Ann playing at Wink next week. Big one there. Let's get to some more scores. How about the Midland Christian Mustangs? They are on the win sheet tonight, 35-8 over the Fort Worth Southwest Christian Eagles. Midland Christian 1-0 in district there, looks like. All right, let's get to, we have some scores for Buena Vista and Grady, some highlights to get to. Sierra Burnett is there. Let's hear from her. Sierra.
It's a slow start for the home team Grady Wildcats as they are down at halftime 20-0. Both teams did start the game off with a fumble, but the Buena Vista Longhorns found their offense in the run game. Let's look at the first half highlights. Junior quarterback Ezra Gamboa of Buena Vista shuffles the ball to running back Jordan Rodriguez for the first touchdown of the game. On the next play, Gamboa hands the ball off to Jordan Rodriguez again as he runs into the end zone for his second touchdown of the night. In the red zone for the 3rd time tonight, Gamboa finds Rodriguez yet again for his 3rd rushing touchdown.
All right, so the final of that one, Buena Vista 48, Grady 8. I believe Grady went into the game with 1 loss, so they are now 5-2 over their 7 games, 0-1 in district play. But Buena Vista still undefeated, now 6-0, 1-0 in district. Buena Vista will be hosting Rankin next week. Grady at Marfa. Speaking of Rankin, let's see that score up against the Bearcats of Garden City. Huge win for Rankin there, 62-26. As for Balmorhea, lots of 6-man games to get to. Balmorhea and Fort Davis, 58-38. The Bears win that one. I know that excites our producer. I know they are a big fan of Balmorhea there. So Good win for the Bears. Good win for the Red Devils. All right, final couple scores to get to. Let's see if we can get these. Here we go. We did not have this one earlier. Sanderson does not get a win against Sierra Blanca. The Eagles losing 44-36. And as for, here's a good one. Mustangs Bowl looks like Sands and Wilson. Sands 52, Wilson 6. Good win there for Sands. Unfortunately, getting a loss there for Sanderson, as we saw earlier. Big wins for Rankin and Balmer-Ray, and a massive win for Buena Vista over a very impressive opponent in Grady. All right, that's a tough one there for some of our schools. We will get to plenty more. Great week, though, overall. I mean, I don't have any complaints about it, Jair. What do you?
No, I don't have. No, not at all, Jensen. I can't have any complaints when it comes to our schools. Pretty big week for our 6A teams. Pretty big week for our 4A, all the way going down to our 6-man schools. So it's been a lot of fun. Jensen, just very quick closing thoughts.
I would say that district play is going to be very fun this year. I mean, we saw how fun it's going to be at the 6A level. I know our 4A is going to be very interesting. Looks like maybe 2A is going to be run away by Wink there. Wink looks pretty good there.
That's right. Now hold your thoughts, Jensen. We're going to see how a lot more of it plays next week. Have a good night, and we can't wait to see you for another week of the Friday Night Blitz.
Thanks for joining us.